What's up, everybody? It's your robot Yula. Today we are going to talk about what's next after you've been selected for the green card lottery. I made a how to apply for the green card lottery tutorial explaining what is the green card lottery and how to apply for it. I'll put a link up here so you can check it out. In this video, I'm going to share with you what to do next and what to prepare for after you've been selected. Let's get started. Where to check if you get selected? The Electronic Diversity Visa Program is the only website to verify green card selection. I'll put a link in the description. In order to verify your green card selection, you'll need to enter your confirmation number, last name, and year of birth to check the status. If you've seen this message, unfortunately, you have not been selected at this time. But don't lose hope. You will be able to try again at the end of the year for the next green card selection round. If you don't know the application process, watch my video titled DV 2023 How to Apply for the Green Card Lottery. You can find a link in the description of this video as well. If you've seen this message, congratulations! You have been selected. You can move forward with the application process. So keep watching this video. From the time that I applied, I waited anxiously for 9 months. Then one evening, I put in my information and I saw a different message. I couldn't believe it. I finally got a green card acceptance letter. I read it over and over again, word by word, line by line. I never thought I would be among the few lucky lottery winners to receive a green card. It took me 4 years of submitting green card applications to finally get selected. I'm definitely grateful for how lucky I am, so I want to share with you all my experience. When to check if you get selected? At the time of the creation of this video, you will be able to check the DV 2023 entrance status until September 30th, 2023. For DV 2024, you can check the status until September 30th, 2024. When to start the process? Let's talk about the timeline first. The new fiscal year starts on October 1st and ends on September 30th next year. That means if you didn't go through the process and get approved by September 30th, unfortunately, you won't get a green card this time around. You need to start over and submit the entry again until you get selected. However, it doesn't mean you can submit your case on October 1st when the new fiscal year starts. It's not on a first-come, first-served basis. In your congratulations letter, there will be a new unique number starting from continent and followed by numbers. The lower number you have, the better chance you can go through the process and get a green card. For example, my case number was 2021 AS 00009105, meaning I participated in DV 2021. AS means my region is Asia, and my number is 9105. How to check when to submit it? To check for the time that you can submit your case, go to the Visa Bulletin website. You should check the bulletin every month. The number for the next month is usually up in the mid-late of the month, so check every month to see if it's your turn. For example, as of May 2023, if your number in Asia is lower than 18,750, you can submit your case now. If you look at the May 2022, the number was 30,000. It all depends on how fast the government can process per month. It is important to remember that selection does not guarantee you will receive a visa. In order to receive a DV to immigrant to the United States, selectees must still meet all eligibility requirements under U.S. law. What to prepare? To apply for the green card, the principal applicant and all family members applying for the Diversity Visa Program must complete Form DS-260. A separate form is required for each visa applicant. Let's talk about what the supporting documents are for this process. The documents I will talk about next are the ones I prepare for my application. Everyone has a different situation, so please consult with a professional attorney about what you need to prepare for your case. Also, I applied for my green card when I was in the United States, so some of the documents will be different than those applying outside of the United States. Passport biography page. Household registration transcript in both original language and English. Birth certificates in both original language and English. If you don't have an English version, you can find places that can notary your original language. That's what I did with mine because the English transcript version I applied for from the hospital is not the same format as the one in Chinese. Diploma in both original language and English. I submitted my university and master's diploma. I even submitted my transcript so they know I'm a good student. I'm not sure if it's necessary, but I like to be fully prepared in case they ask me about it. The most recent tax return. Credit score. U.S. driver's license. Social security number. Results of medical examination, which is called the I-693 form. The examination including a physical exam, blood test, urine test, and vaccination requirements. I don't remember which vaccines I received in the past, so I got all of the vaccine I needed at the same time. Fill out form I-765 and I-131, I-94. Since I was a student when I first came to the United States, I need to show all of my I-20s. EAD card, employment authorization document. Photograph, 2 color full-face photographs for each applicant regardless of age. For the specs, check out travel.state.gov. For the form you need to fill out, go to uscis.gov to find more information. Because I was in the United States, I wanted to stay here to attend the interview, so I needed to submit I-485 form to adjust the status. Because the green card lottery is time sensitive, if you don't get it by September 30th, then you won't receive it. I decided to hire a lawyer to help me prepare the documents that I needed for my application, as well as help me prepare for the green card interview. I hired an attorney, George Liu, to help me with this process. The area of law that George specializes in is employment-based and family-based immigration, immigration court, deportation, removal proceeding, etc. George is fluent in English, Mandarin, Japanese, and even Taiwanese. When we spoke in Taiwanese, it was a familiar feeling that made me feel that he was trustworthy. He has always been super nice to me, and I can always reach him through email or phone. This experience is in contrast to working with big corporate lawyers, where you can never get a hold of your lawyer. I've had many experiences where I would call a law office and get a front desk. They would tell me that lawyer will get back to me, but they would never follow up. I'll put George's website down below in the description of this video, so you can book a consultation with George. My experience. Let's talk about my timeline for DV 2021. I checked my status on August 17, 2020, and found out that I got selected. On March 26, 2021, I met with attorney George Liu and started collecting my documents. Because I was in the United States, a lot of documents are now with me. I had my parents in Taiwan mail me the documents. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I wouldn't be able to apply for my green card without your help. Because my number was a little bit higher, to save time, we decided to do the medical examination first and mail the result with my documents to the government. On April 15, 2021, I went to do the medical examination and got my report within a week. You needed to find a doctor's office that is approved for immigrant medical exam. They'll give you a sealed envelope that you cannot open. I did ask for a copy when I went the first time, so I have a record of my medical examination results. On April 30th, 2021, I emailed Kentucky Consular Center, KCC, that I'm in the United States and will file my permanent resident application in the United States. On May 1st, 2021, at the time the bulletin number was 13,000 and my number was 9,105. Therefore, I was able to start submitting my application. On May 3rd, 2021, we mailed out my green card application package with the check to USCIS. However, the government updated the I-485 form and I filed with the old version before the updates. So we had to resubmit my case with the updated I-485 form on June 4th, 2021. On June 22nd, 2021, I received my I-485, I-131, and I-765 receipts from the government. There are receipt numbers on each form's notification, and you can go to USCIS case status online using the receipt numbers to check the latest update. On July 13, 2021, normally you wouldn't have to do anything but wait for the government to schedule a biometric appointment, aka taking fingerprints. However, there were only 2 months left until the green card cutoff for the fiscal year. I called the USCIS to check on my case and to schedule a biometric appointment. This is the USCIS number. USCIS robot versus Eula the robot. I tried telling the robot that I wanted to speak to an agent, but she just kept telling me, I cannot do that at this time. If you keep asking, I will hang up. After a few back and forth with the robot eventually hung up. Annoyed, I called back and asked the system to schedule an appointment. Finally, the robot put me on with a live agent. Ha! Success! Eula the robot win. Anyway, I waited for an hour and finally spoke to a real person. She said someone from Tier 2 will contact me within 20 days. I don't really know if this phone call moved the process along or not, but I received an appointment notice at the end of July. On July 26, 2021, I received my fingerprint appointment notice. On August 9, 2021, I went to do the fingerprints. Bring your passport and a notification letter. You will need this item in order for them to verify your identity. They took a picture of me and took a record of my fingerprints, and that's it. It was in and out in approximately 30 minutes. On August 11, 2021, KCC emailed to notify me to pay $330 for the DV program. You need to write a money order or a cashier check to the U.S. Department of State. On August 16, 2021, I received my interview notification, which they scheduled for September 13, 2021. I went to George's office several times after knowing my interview date. He helped me practice what the officer will ask me. Usually, they will ask you about your personal information on the I-485 form, just to make sure your answers are still the same as the time you filled them out. So if you are not familiar with your mom's birthday or how many places you have lived in the United States, it's time to remember all of those. Sorry, Mom, I still don't remember your birthday, but I love you. The last time I left George's office before my interview, I was heading home and the GPS guided me through the downtown LA because of the traffic on the freeway. And the idea of I should do a location scout suddenly popped up in my head, which was the thing I always did when I had big tests in Taiwan. I put the address into the Google map, and surprisingly, it was only 2 minutes away from where I was. At that moment, I felt blessed that the universe was helping me. I made sure I knew what the building looked like and where to park my car. My appointment was at 9 a.m., which was the traffic time. I recommend stopping by the interview building beforehand. It will ease your stress on the day of your interview. Trust me. On September 30th, 2021, on the interview day, before you enter the USCIS building, you need to pass the security check. There will most likely be a line. I recommend arriving at least 30 minutes before your interview time, just in case you get stuck in the line. After I got into the building, I went to the room where they told me to check in. I gave her my interview notification letter and did a fingerprint scanner to check in. Then she asked me to wait in the waiting room until the officer called my name. I waited for about 30 minutes and the officer came out, called my name, and I followed her into her office. Before she began reviewing my case, I vowed that I was going to tell the truth. On her desk, she had copies of my green card application documents, which we had mailed a few months prior, open in front of her. She asked me to show her all my original documents. Then she asked me a bunch of security questions like, have you ever been denied admission to the United States? Have you ever committed a crime of any kind? Etc. Which should all be no. The duration of the interview was approximately 30 minutes. If you are lucky, they will approve your case on site. In my case, she said that I hadn't done a background check, so she couldn't approve my case just yet. As the interview concluded, she gave me a notice of interview results saying my case was being held for review. Since my interview date was September 30th, 2021, and the approval deadline was September 30th, 2021, if I didn't get a green card approval before the deadline, I was going to lose my chance of getting a green card. As you can imagine, my stress, anxiety, and frustration were at an all-time high for the rest of September. I went to the temple to pray. I told myself I will get my green card every morning when I woke up and every night before I went to bed. Manifesting is important. I checked the status online daily to see if there were any updates. I called USCIS on September 25th, 2021, using the secret phrase, I want to make an appointment, and get to talk to an agent on the phone. I told her my situation, and she said she was going to put an urgent note on my case, so someone would contact me within 3 days. Then another agent called me within an hour. Can you believe that? A government department called me within an hour. I imagine USCIS to be like the sloth working at the DMV in Zootopia. What? Anyway, he told me he couldn't expedite the background check process, and it all depends on the officer who was in charge. So he wasn't really helpful. Luckily, my status changed on September 28, 2021, and said that I was approved. I was literally in shock and my hands were shaking when I saw the green card approval status. I called George right away to confirm I wasn't dreaming, and I wasn't. On September 30th, they shipped out my green card. I got my green card package the following week. Everything happened so fast. It was unreal. The whole process took about 6 months. Thankfully, I got my green card before the cutoff time, so I didn't need to worry about my visa anymore. Diversity visa green cards are good for 10 years. Special thanks to my lawyer George Liu for helping me throughout the process. He gave me honest and straightforward advice. It was constructive consulting with George whenever I ran into issues along the way. Thanks to everybody who helped me along the way. If you are one of the lucky people who also get selected, I highly recommend hiring a lawyer to help you. The green card lottery is a time-sensitive process. You don't want to waste your chance just to save a few $1,000s. Once you get a green card, you get to work legally in the United States. A few thousand in exchange for 10 years of freedom? Worth it. If you find this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up. It will be super easy for you to pull this video out in the future when you get selected to apply for your green card. You never know if you will be the lucky applicant in the future. Speaking of getting more luck, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way, you can take some of my luck with you when you apply for the green card lottery. It's a win-win situation. I'll see you next time. Bye!